The Merrow Hotel and Spa Northwest 200 Superbike race. It's the feature race, and this is the grid as they'll line up. It is again Glenn Irwin from Davy Todd and Michael Dunlop, Dean Harrison, Peter Hickman, Connor Cummins, John McGuinness, James Hillier and Paul Jordan. What three rows they are. Who's going to have the advantage from the lights out? Ian Hutchinson, Erna Costamo, Adam McLean's not riding, of course, he's injured. Michael Rutter in the middle of row 4, and then David Johnson is in row 5. Track temperature 38 degrees. It's kept it right up till the end of the day. No delay though. Lights out and away we go. Who's it going to be? Surely it'll be Davy Todd again.
Must be.
He's the fastest man. He's always off the line, the quickest, and he does this time. But sweeping round the outside. Wow. There were some changes coming on from the second row of the grid. Let's see who makes it through there.
Right, so they flash through there.
There is Michael. It is Michael Dunlop that's looking good from Dean Harrison. So the number 6 of Michael Dunlop, full tank of fuel as we go into the braking area. That's tight as they ran wide, and that's why Michael Dunlop ran wide. He was a little ambitious, I think, trying to lay across the nose.
Glenn Irwin went wide as well. You can see how much time he's lost going out around that hairpin up the hill. Dean Harrison must be on a spare bike because we saw his bike pack up, so they must have a fresh one for him.
Into the bottom gear corner, and you're right, Irwin has lost a lot of time. Dean Harrison through in third place at this moment of time as they stream through the bottom gear Mill Road roundabout and out into the countryside for the first time. Here's the 74, you can see the windsock.
Smack on headwind as a gun down there.
And that will slow them down a little bit. The wings will be holding them down. Through station, now it's the run into the slipstream. Now then, that man in front of us, he's on the... well, it's
a semi-superbike.
I think so. I think it's got a stock motor, but he's got all the bits on it to make it stop fairly well over 6 laps. So Michael Dunlop is in front of us and pulling away. Actually, it's looking quite good. So Davy Todd goes through. Then it is Dean Harrison's super stock bike. It's fast.
It is. There's not a lot in it in speed-wise, is there? On board with James Hillier now. WTF Racing Machine down there. Michael Dunlop just in front of him. Of course, Michael Dunlop still has an injury. We know that. We've seen him with an ice pack on all day long. He's injured his, I think it's his right wrist.
Yes, it is. And he's had an ice pack, as you say. Finally shown us the injury that he has. He was reluctant to say that that injury was causing him any problems when we saw him on Thursday, but now after a bit of racing it's obviously just beginning to hum.
Here we go, Davy Todd. Listen, let's just have a listen. Absolutely perfect. Yeah, bang on.
Glenn Irwin behind him, but of course when you get to York with a full tank of fuel sometimes it's just a little bit, and Glenn Irwin ran out a little wide. So then at the chicane, I know who's gone on straight. It's James Hillier. Oh, what a nightmare for him. He'll have to stop here in the stop box. He didn't.
More or less. Well, I don't know what speed you have to go through if you put his foot down, but he's lost a lot of time. We'll wait and see if he does get any penalty. I don't think he will, actually. I think he virtually stopped.
We'll work it out from the race direction a little later on whether Hillier picks up a penalty. Of course, it will be 10 seconds if they deem that he didn't stop accordingly. It is Davy Todd leading. Dean Harrison there in third place, looking back at Michael Dunlop. It would be popular if he could get on to those boys out front, no doubt about it. The programmes are being waved in his favour, but Davy Todd, I feel maturity from Davy Todd this year. He's looked really, whatever you've thrown at him this week, it hasn't been quite a perfect week. I know he's had wins, but he just looks a little more mature than before, and that bodes well for here and the TT.
It does, but unfortunately he got mugged, didn't he, on the last Superbike race by, of course, the man behind him, number 1, Glenn Irwin, who's already got 10 wins on the bounce around here at the Northwest 200. He'll be doing everything he can to make that BMW as wide as he possibly can out in front, or get his tactics right again. But Glenn Irwin, a wiry fella that knows how to win around here, of course.
6 laps, and he'll swap his tactic about maybe to block Davy Todd if he is in the hunt at that Juniper chicane as a last chance saloon. Over the line then, Todd leads from Irwin. How have they got this worked out? The other thing is the 6-lap race they've already done on the Superbikes earlier today will give them a full indication of how much stick they can give their tyres over 6 laps.
Yeah, I have to say there doesn't seem to have been any problems whatsoever this year, which is good. I guess they've changed the pressures, changed the tyres and everything else. All these tyres have got a very hard centre band on them to try. We're talking 210, 20, 30 horsepower on these bikes. It's incredible that the tyres do put it to it.
These guys are both running Metzler though, aren't they? Glenn Irwin and the man he's chasing, Davy Todd.
Yeah, as is number 5.
Yeah, number 5 as well. He's running the same Metzler. I think it's only Michael Dunlop that's running Dunlops.
And Peter Hickman.
Indeed. Those are the two, I think, that have that deal with them. But Dunlops are working well here as well. Michael Dunlop was thinking he might have an advantage.
Actually, I've just thought Peter Hickman's not out because he's done too many races.
He's already done five races. He can't do 6. And if you saw him drinking the champagne on his last podium, so you can't drink champagne and then go out and race, that's for sure.
I did.
That was back in the day. We knew you weren't buying it. So through station corner we have gone then. These guys now heading out towards the countryside, and we are on board at station corner. Let's have listen to that. I was about to say, streaming through.
Yeah, that's Rutter, isn't it? There, still
Number
going
4,
quite well.
Michael Rutter.
On board with Hillier.
He's another 52-year-old, isn't he? Like John McGuinness. And I can tell you that Hillier has got a 10-second penalty. Oh, who's that that's just packed up? It's John McGuinness now who's packed up. John McGuinness is out of this race, and that's another Honda failure. Wow. They are having an absolute nightmare of a week.
Yeah.
Back at the link is number 4. Going over the link now, that is Michael Rutter. Wow, I can't believe. Honda are absolutely having a nightmare. John, you should stop if you've got a problem with a motorbike.
Yeah.
Pull it. Oh, hang on. Hang on a minute. That's pretty high up, that smoke. I don't know where that's coming from.
The rider's pointing at him, and he's well aware that that is oil smoke coming out from somewhere, but it does seem rather high up.
Yeah, so maybe there's a hose or something that's popped off. Here we go. Glenn Irwin takes Davy Todd, and that's at Juniper, as you might have expected. So Davy Todd has slid through now. Glenn Irwin has slid through on Davy Todd. Now this is about, has he gone too early and given Davy Todd an opportunity to look at where he's good?
I was about to say, Davy Todd now has the chance of following Glenn Irwin around here, seeing where he's stronger, if he's stronger anywhere, where he could possibly do the job.
Dean Harrison still there. Wow, this is going to be a scrap, isn't it? We're on lap 5, so they've got 2 laps to go. This lap and, of course, the final lap. It's going to be a scrap. Well, I don't think we're going to see lap record speeds like we've had this week so far. 4:16 was the new lap record.
You know what Glenn Irwin's thinking? If the race gets stopped, I want to be leading on that lap. It's a 2/3 race. It would be called at that, so he's a smart boy.
He is yeah, you're absolutely right. That is a fact. It's 2/3. So if somebody or something happens and they have to call this race, if they have to red flag it, it could be declared. And if he's not in front at that point, Mill Road roundabout. Now then, watch this. This is the bit that's always, you can hear those fail of the throttle as we go back to James Hillier on the 37, being chased by Rutter on the number 4.
And we'll have to wait to see if Hillier gets a penalty, possible.
Well, he's already got it. It's already been deemed that he's got his 10-second penalty, Steve, for not stopping in the stop box. So that's done for him. Meanwhile, station, and that's what I wanted to watch. Look at that. Look at the speed that he has through there on the BMW. That is Davy Todd through station corner. I don't know what he's got about that bike, but it gives him so much confidence.
I'll tell you what he's got. He's holding that throttle wide open. He's got bravery.
Got to have confidence in your bike to be able to do that at a corner like that. Here comes, though, Glenn Irwin. Slipstream, side by side now. Ducati versus BMW. And I'll tell you what, the BMW holds its own. That was a fresh motor in the Ducati on Thursday night.
Inside line, he's letting the brakes off there, Glenn was.
Oh, and he's going to take him out wide, but doesn't. Makes the apex on the link road. Lap and a half to go. We're at Coleraine. It's a triangle between Portrush, Port Stewart and Coleraine, and we're at the Coleraine end of that triangle. It is Glenn Irwin that leads again, but Davy Todd, growing in stature by every yard, picks his knee up from the curb.
That's the ride of the day from Dean Harrison on that bike. I'm sure he's 20 horsepower down on a bike that's got standard brakes, standard suspension. It's quite incredible.
Yeah, and thankfully Honda will be happy about that. Here we go again then. You can see the bumps as they leap out. The shadows give you the indication of how bumpy it is by the fact you can see light between the bike and the floor. There again, Davy Todd on the brakes, gets underneath Glenn Irwin. I've always said Glenn Irwin's great in the brakes.
Yeah, well, Davy Todd's matching all the time. He is a bit younger, of course. 74-year-old, he's only 29 years old.
So Glenn Irwin again, we're looking at. Wow. Alongside in the slipstream. Meanwhile, into the braking area, it is Irwin from Todd from Dean Harrison.
Dean's got to be happy with this ride, to cling on and see those guys still towards the end of this race.
Well, he's switched to Honda this year, hasn't he? He's come from Kawasaki to Honda, and that's a big deal. You want to... It's a shame they don't have a Superbike, but
yeah, that's
there
Paul
you
Jordan.
go. Paul Jordan on 22 for his rutter. Costamo on the back there. David Todd out front, fighting with Glenn Irwin. I wonder what he's got worked out this time. He's had a frustrating time when it's come to trying to pass Glenn Irwin. We're at that Juniper Hill chicane, and Glenn Irwin has got through that nice and clean. We're coming to the end of lap 5. We'll have 1 lap left, just under 9 miles of this course road.
Dean Harrison's hoping they tangle with one another just to slow themselves down so he can get right on the back of them.
I think he's more likely hoping that he gets to the end of this race. So Dean Harrison, they're in 3rd place, ride of the day. There is the yellow flag with the black cross on it, signifying the last lap. They'll know it anyway. Out to the curb. Glenn will be trying to make some kind of a break so he doesn't have a Davy Todd lunge on this final lap. But if he does, and he takes them wide, Dean Harrison is there to keep them honest as we go over Primrose down into the braking area at York. The boom of the Ducati, the Hager PBM Ducati. What a great day it's been, actually, already for Jordan and Frank Bird, the 2 kids of Paul Bird that are here running the team. They've just come off the back of 3 wins at Oulton Park at BSB, and he's looking for an even... Well, he's already broken the record for the most successive wins in Superbike. Yeah. 10. This will be his 11th if he can do it again.
Wouldn't Paul Bird be looking down on this?
And
very
be really
proud
happy.
of it.
Yeah, that's for sure. Proud of them.
I'm convinced that Todd will get past him after this corner. We've seen before how fast he is through here.
Watch this, yeah, through station. He closes him down here, but maybe Glenn Irwin's got it worked out. No, he hasn't, because here comes a BMW. Wow. But have you ever seen anybody go through there that fast?
In clear air, there's nothing in these bikes. They're so vastly different. Inline 4-cylinder BMW, V4 Ducati.
Singing. Side by side. Now then, it will be about the braking area at University. We are almost there, into the braking point. Their heads will pop up from behind the screen as they look for the braking point, and at that speed, it is again leg out style from Glenn Irwin. That's the more modern, if you like, in inverted commas, style of braking, to push you back in the seat to try and keep the rear end of the bike down as well, to give you that kind of pull into the corner.
And makes you wider to stop anyone coming up the inside.
He's got long legs, Glenn Irwin, that's for sure. I don't think that's going to bother the man behind him, though. He'll just smash him out the way. Right then, the run to Portrush we are on now. This is the final lap. As a reminder, Glenn Irwin leads from Davy Todd. Has Todd got it worked out?
Well, he's seen what Davey did to him. He'll try and probably do the same back, but they're both very experienced. They've both had some great racing today.
Fingers crossed, though, no back markers will interfere with anything here when we get into braking again. We'll wait and see. Look at this, Glenn Irwin's got that done well. Davy Todd hasn't been able to close him down, but still Dean Harrison is there.
Clinging on like a Jack Russell.
Unbelievable. Dean Harrison doing a great job on a super stock Honda. Now then, next chicane will be Macra Boy. And again, both these guys are good. I noticed that the BMW launches really well out of Macra Boy, and if that's the case, if he gets on the gas and gets alongside the man out front by the time we get to Metropole, that might give Davy Todd a bit of an opportunity.
Look at the crowd are going berserk here at the moment. I'm sure they're actually going to be after. Oh, did you see that? BMW tied itself in a knot coming out there. I think he lost a bit of time.
Yeah, indeed. Normally, he just manages to get on the gas and it picks up a few yards on the man in front. He's still got that kind of run at Glenn, but he's not close enough. Into Metropole then. Glenn Irwin will lead if he makes the apex. Of course, you can make a mistake here. He hasn't. He's pulled it down to the apex. Now, here we go. Through this left-hander, then the right at Church, and then we're on the coast road.
And he's right on his back where they're going mad. I'm sure they want Glenn to possibly win, or the locals do, the Irish fella. Glenn Irwin powers up the hill, but Davy Todd is right in the slipstream there. Over Black Hill, he'll have a go. Surely he'll have a go when they get down to
here
the back.
Here we go, he's looking at it there, but I don't think it's quite on. It's not. Glenn Irwin shuts his nose off, and it's going to be down at Juniper. The last chance saloon is the Juniper chicane, and Todd made a mistake there. He made the wrong decision last time.
No, I don't believe it.
Well, let's wait and see if he gets close enough. But this is the place. Glenn Irwin. Oh, and he's gone tight, Glenn Irwin. He stayed the other side of the white line, and that is it. Glenn Irwin has kept Davy Todd out. The back marker will be in the way, and they're going to catch him on the straight. Oh, I tell you what, the BMW's launched. Now they've got to go round the outside of him at Juniper. That is quick there, but it looks like Glenn Irwin is going to hang on. Davy Todd, well, did the back marker interfere with them? I don't know. They're both out wide. Checkered flag time. It is Glenn Irwin again from Davy Todd, and through comes Dean Harrison, and I'll go with you, Steve, on that ride of the day.
11 wins on the bounce. Check it out. Glenn Irwin, Davy Todd, Dean Harrison, Michael Dunlop. We hardly saw him in fourth. Paul Jordan, Michael Rutter, Craig Neave, Mike Brown, James Hillian, Dominic Herbertson.